Hello again everybody. Welcome back to my layout. The town of Fairview in the Rocky Mountains. If you have watched my last couple of videos, you'll know that I've been doing some work in this area of the Aspen Grove Industrial Park. And now, as we move towards the Christmas vacation period, I will almost certainly try and make some more progress on that. But in today's video at least, I want to concentrate on this area here. I showed you recently the build of this nice little bungalow kit. And the model I'm very happy with. But my first attempt to start kind of landscaping the garden area with, you can probably just about see, have I got a pointer somewhere? Yeah, look, I tried to kind of set up the base of some pavers and the, like the concrete going out to the sidewalk there. That hasn't really worked all that well. So my aim in the next couple of days is to take some of that back up, relay the areas that are going to be concrete and so on, and properly landscape the garden and things. I've also bought a just plug wall light, or rather a little pack of 2. So I'm going to fit one of those just beside the front door there as a bit of a porch light, just so I can have a couple more lights, still experimenting with a wee bit of lighting at least in the area. So yeah, over the next couple of days I'll put some footage up of how I get on in this area. Stay tuned. Alright, so let's go through some of the stages of completing this area without boring you with hours and hours of footage. I've been working on this for the last 3 or 4 evenings. First of all, stripping back the existing materials and then setting up a little diorama on just an offcut of thin MDF, I think 5mm, onto which I fixed just a length of standard grass mat, which I prefer when I'm modelling areas of lawn and sort of more manicured grass. Although here I wanted it to look quite scuffed and worn, so scraped things back in lots of areas to show places where people have walked on the grass a lot. And then slowly but surely built up some layers of vegetation, fixed the fences permanently in place. This is a Woodland Scenics product, but I also scratch built a wooden lap fence for half of the garden. Then slowly but surely adding more bushes and sort of foliage and small flowers and whatnot. And really it starts to be a case of just finer and finer details as things go along. Sometimes you move on to a different project while something else is drying. Here starting to paint in the sidewalks, which had a couple of layers of paint with washes and so on. But as I say, over I think 4 evenings of work in the end this week, everything slowly started to come together. Weathering patiners, debris in the back garden. Here's some gas canisters which I 3D printed. And once all of those details were in place, I just had to go back to the bungalow itself. The just plug porch light so that had to be fixed in place. And I also had to go back and reattach the flagpole, which I managed to knock off quite early on in the process. Perhaps not that big a surprise, but anyway, so I had to sort of just reattach that before things could be put in place on the layout. Fixing the actual base down onto the sub base, and then setting everything in place. The just plug lighting isn't operational yet. I'll do all the wiring up of that in due course, but now it's all come together, I'm really quite pleased. It was a nice little kit in the first place, and now with all these extra details around, it meets my standards, at least, you know, where I'm happy with the compromise in terms of detail, but without becoming sort of overbearing. In the end, this is meant to be in the background, so I don't necessarily want it to sort of be super hyper realistic, but I'm pleased now with the overall effect. So in fact, the only thing missing from the scene is, of course, to have a train rolling through. Let's watch 2028 come through the Stanley Street grade crossing, bringing some new cars onto the layout, ready for switching to Univar chemicals, amongst other things. All looking pretty good. Okay, so our crew has finished switching the Aspen Grove Industrial lead, and because of the way that the turnouts bring that particular lead back onto the main line, they just have to come a mile or two back to Fairview, where now they can run around their train before making their way back to the main depot at the nearby city. So we can just watch BNSF number 2028 conducting its runaround manoeuvres and in due course coupling up to the train. This will be my last video for 2023, so I thought I would just quickly give you a peek ahead at what I'm hoping to do in the coming weeks. I've finally bought some track to reinstate the upper loop, which up until now has represented the Canadian Rockies, so I'm going to be doing some work on getting that section up and running again. But I did also promise that I would do a video about sort of operations and the development of the concept of Fairview. So in fact, it may well be that by the time I'm sharing that with you, the upper deck won't be the Canadian Rockies anymore, and in fact the local city that 2028 is about to head off to won't be Denver anymore. I'm really beginning to think about something which is much more of a freelanced approach to my model making, but I'll talk about that in the new year. Other than that, there's the usual jobs to do, slowly but surely improving the standards of my scenery pretty much everywhere, finishing off even basic groundwork in Aspen Grove, and yeah, hopefully just enjoying playing with my trains a bit. So operations continue apace here at Fairview this evening. I'll leave you with the last few shots of a UP coal train rumbling through town, and then all that remains for me to do is to wish you all a very, very happy and blessed Christmas time, but also a peaceful and productive 2024. Take care, and I hope to see you all again soon.